You want to know how it really went down? Okay, picture this Georgia, just as dawn breaks. Streets empty, air heavy, and there's Amara Briggs, the woman at the end of Cedar Lane, gliding down the sidewalk with two dogs so intense. You'd think they were part ghost, part soldier, not just a pair of pets. People around here called her the Black Ghost, and they meant it nobody really knew where she came from, but everyone kept their distance, like she carried a piece of some old war you didn't want to get too close to. Amara kept to herself, didn't talk to neighbors, didn't show up at the cookouts, and when she showed up at the corner store, she kept her eyes down and her words short. And those dogs, Chaos and Mercy, yeah, the names fit. Chaos, big and sharp like a shadow that could snap you in half, and Mercy, lean and silent, eyes that never blinked. Kids made up stories, adults whispered about her paste ex-con, mercenary, maybe even CIA. Whatever, no one dared test it. That morning, nothing seemed off, but you could feel something brewing. Maybe it was the way Mrs. Milan's curtain twitched when Amara passed, or the way the breeze stilled as she walked by. But Amara, she just moved with that Navy SEAL's gait, never rushing, never slouching, every step quiet but sure, as if the concrete under her feet answered to her, not the other way around. She made it back home at 7:32 sharp, just like every other day fed the dogs, checked the perimeter cameras, and retreated to her training room out back, walls covered in black and white photos of a unit nobody here would ever recognize, faces that saw things you can't wash off, arms covered in tattoos, medals on a dusty shelf, a locked box holding memories too sharp to handle. The TV muttered in the background news, weather, something about community safety, but Amara just cracked a wry half-smile. She knew the real patrols weren't about keeping people safe. They were about keeping people in check. When the sun dipped, the air got thick. Chaos started pacing. Mercy posted at the window, and Amara's whole body tuned to a frequency only people who've survived ambushes know. She saw the shadows outside, two men splitting up in the backyard. No uniforms. No announcement. The security system chirped Ansia, private warning. Amara didn't need a gun. She didn't even flinch. She just whispered, "Wait," and her dogs froze, all muscle and intent. The door creaked open. One guy stumbled back as Chaos blocked the Wayno growl, just presence. The second man tried to talk, just checking. Amara stared through him, her finger on Mercy's collar, that stare that says don't. And just like that, the would-be intruders bolted. The cameras caught every frame. Nobody called the cops, and nobody reported anything. But Amara knew this was only round one. Because when a system wants to break you, it doesn't show up with sirens blaring. It circles, it pokes, it fabricates. But it had picked the wrong target. The next day, surveillance got heavy. Black SUV 2 houses down, private security, drone at 4 a.m., a mailman who didn't know the neighborhood. Amara watched it all from her living room, drinking coffee that never cooled, flipping through her camera feed's blind spots to others, but she saw every angle. When the police finally came for her, they tried to be subtle civility as a mask for suspicion. Two officers, Rickson and Renner, showed up. Rickson tried to play nice, asking about noise complaints and dog training. Amara shut that down. No kids play outside at night, and I train my dog in my own yard. Renner tried to push a thin smile, a threat wrapped in policy. But Amara's voice cut through. "You're not entering my home without a warrant." When Rickson reached for Chaos trying to show he wasn't afraid, Chaos growled, low and deep. That was enough. They backed off, but everyone in the neighborhood knew it wasn't over. You could almost feel it coming a showdown. Amara started prepping, not with traps or weapons, but with data, discipline, and drills. The basement became a training ground, obstacles and strobe lights, her and the dogs moving in formation like the war never ended. She taught them not just to attack, but to listen, to wait, to move as one unit commands, not pet tricks. She knew what was coming. Meanwhile, at the station, Renner was stirring the pot. He'd met Amari years ago, in another life, when he left her team to die overseas. She survived, but she never forgot his face. Now he was framing her feeding stories, collecting witnesses like Eleanor, a neighbor who filmed her dogs and sent footage to the cops. Soon, complaints piled up. Anonymous tips. Night training with attack dogs. Photos of chaos jumping fences. It was all theater, designed to paint her as a threat. The city authorized a special surveillance order, and everything Amara did became evidence until the day the system tried to close the case for good. It happened in the rain, of course the kind that seeps into your bones. Amara knew before the knock came. Her dogs were already in formation. She wore her old uniform, not for them, but for herself, a sign that this wasn't a civilian's fight anymore. The knock wasn't polite. It was a steel battering ram. The cops burst in, rifles up, night vision lenses slicing the dark. Chaos launched out from the shadows, knocking an officer across the room. Mercy, all surgical precision, took down a second. Amara didn't shout. She just stood at the top of the stairs and called them off. "I have everything recorded," she said, her voice steady as iron. "You're trespassing, and I have proof." Renner made his move, badge in hand, accusations ready assault on officers, harboring dangerous animals. Amara just looked at him. "You left your own behind once. You're doing it again. But this time, it's your career on the line." She surrendered, but not out of defeat. She did it to protect her dogs, to flip the game. As the cuffs clicked on, neighbors filmed it all. The first video hit the internet within minutes. What happened next? Data doesn't lie. Gina, her old friend, blasted footage to the press, to oversight groups, to anyone who would watch. Journalists dug up Renner's history, his betrayal, his payoffs, his pattern of burying the truth. The system buckled under the pressure of the public eye, and for once, the silence broke. People started talking: veterans, neighbors, cops who couldn't take it anymore. Amara's dogs became symbols, not of violence, but of discipline, loyalty, and justice that doesn't bend to fear. The law changed. The community changed. Southcrest was never the same. Amara never came back, but her presence never really left. Now, I gotta ask you, if you'd lived on Cedar Lane, would you have watched from behind the curtain or stepped out into the rain? What does justice mean in a place where truth has to fight for every inch? Leave your thoughts below, share your story, and let's keep the conversation going because, sometimes silence is just the beginning of the real noise.